Madam President, at the outset, I extend my heartiest congratulations to the permanent representatives of Kuwait and Netherlands on their appointment as co-chairs of the IGN for the 80th session of the UNGA. India aligns with the statements delivered by St. Vincent and the Grenadines on behalf of L69 and by Brazil on behalf of G4. Excellencies, we gather at a time when the UN is facing searching questions of legitimacy, credibility, and efficacy. Member states are discussing the UN at 80 initiative aimed at reforming the UN, but let us not forget in recognizing the reality. All that we have seen in this forum over nearly 2 decades is not action, but artful delay, procedural acrobatics, and a quiet, calculated resistance to change an 80-year-old architecture that is representative of a bygone era. This situation is neither representative nor equitable nor credible. There is a need to make the UN fit for purpose by redesigning this framework in order not only to make it reflective of contemporary geopolitical realities, but also to redeem its crisis of legitimacy. Excellencies, the discussion on Security Council reforms in the UN commenced decades ago. There have been calls for patience and for building consensus. But consensus, when wielded as a veto by another name, becomes a tool of obstruction, not inclusion. In the 17 years since the IGN format was initiated, it has been reduced to a theater of the absurd. Any objective analysis of the discussions up to now would make it clear that the current format has delivered nothing, adopted nothing, and reconciled nothing. The framework, structure, working methods, and all associated aspects of the Security Council remain unchanged. Member states are trapped in an endless cycle of statements and discussions that lead nowhere. The 79th session, like its preceding sessions, also concluded without any forward movement on this agenda item. This is masterful inactivity masquerading as dialogue. In this context, I would like to make the following points. First, any reform of the Council without expansion in both permanent and non-permanent categories would simply not be meaningful. The overwhelming sentiment of member states to have an expansion in both categories must be respected and duly factored in. Expansion of only the non-permanent category, thus further postponing the necessary substantive reform of the permanent membership category by a few decades, is a recipe to perpetuate the existing inequities and asymmetry in the Council and to consign the Council to further irrelevance and ineffective functioning. No amount of eloquent declarations emanating from this forum will be able to mask the lack of equity in the Council's positions. Second, negotiations on the basis of a text is not a dramatic innovation on the table. It is an established practice in the UN. But for some inscrutable reason, however, the IGN has been different. There is still no text even after 17 years. In this backdrop, India reiterates its call for the early start of text-based negotiations with transparent milestones and timelines. Only this will ensure the credibility of the IGN process. Third, addressing historical injustices against Africa is a theme that resonates among different groups. India underscores that such injustices are to be addressed primarily by the inclusion of Africa in the permanent category. I urge member states, particularly those who have been referring to this topic in rather general terms, to make their position clear and categorical. Fourth, India supports the representation of small island developing states in a reformed council. However, similar claims by other cross-regional groups such as OIC are not comparable. Faith cannot become the determining criteria for council entitlement. Fifth, the composition and framework of an expanded and reformed council may be decided upon by members of the General Assembly. India stands fully ready to contribute meaningfully towards this agenda, including the IGN framework. Finally, progress on the agenda is dependent on the commitment of member states to meaningfully contribute towards this endeavor in a forward-looking and constructive manner. India urges all member states to come together in this regard. Narrow considerations and parochial views need to be set aside for the larger good of the effective functioning of the Security Council. Excellencies, as we commence another iteration of the IGN process, it warrants introspection and soul-searching. Are we willing to honestly work for achieving tangible progress, or are we condemned, like Sisyphus, to be trapped in this endless cycle till eternity? After all, we seek reform not for the sake of symbolism, but for substance and in the quest for a system that empowers cooperation rather than continually codifying privilege. India will continue to work alongside progressive groups and member states towards achieving real and effective reforms. We hope that the co-chairs would be able to guide the IGN in the right direction during the current session so that concrete outcomes can be accomplished. I thank you.